On May 31st, a blue full moon rises at 9 degrees of Sagittarius, and what that means for every single one of you is this. What you have been carrying through the first half of this year is about to be fully illuminated. This is the second full moon of May, a blue moon, a cycle that arrives every 2 to 3 years. In Sagittarius, it carries one specific impulse, the pull to expand beyond whatever has been keeping your world small. Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, and Jupiter is currently in Cancer, exalted, operating from a position of genuine warmth and strength. What this creates at the full moon is a rare combination. The philosophical fire of Sagittarius carried by the emotional depth of Cancer. For most of you, what surface has to do with belief. What you believe about yourself, what you believe is possible, and whether the life you are building is actually moving toward what you want. The full moon opposites the sun conjunct Uranus in Gemini, which brings in curiosity, unexpected information, and the kind of clarity that shifts things quickly. The moon trines Saturn and Neptune in Aries, which adds a layer of useful discernment. The expansion available here is real, but not everything that presents itself as an opportunity is one. 3 aspects define the quality of this full moon. Mars in Taurus is squaring Pluto retrograde in Aquarius. Power and tension around resources, particularly within groups. In its highest expression, this channels intense inner force towards something worth building. Mercury in Gemini squares Neptune, which makes communication porons around this date. Creative channel open wide. Practical agreements need careful review. And Venus in Cancer squares Saturn in Aries. Good things may be within reach, and yet a question of worthiness can surface. That hesitation is the pattern to notice, not the instruction to follow. And now we are going to take every single sign one by one. Aries and Aries rising. The blue full moon falls in your 9th house. Travel, higher learning, philosophy, and the beliefs that shape how you see the world. This is one of the most natural placements for this energy, and for many of you, it arrives as a genuine opening. Mars in your 2nd house squaring Pluto retrograde in the 11th can bring tension around shared finances or expectations within your community. Be honest about your actual capacity instead of what others are projecting onto you. The full moon trines Saturn and Neptune in your 1st house. And there is a quieter layer to this transit running beneath the philosophical fire. Something in how you carry yourself is being restructured. Saturn is asking for more expression. Neptune is asking for more honesty about who you have outgrown. This expansion available for Aries at this full moon opens through what you are willing to learn and through where you allow your perspective to generally reshape your sense of self. Taurus and Taurus rising. The full moon falls in your 8th house. Shared resources, transformation, and the deeper currents running beneath the surface of your daily life. What comes from partners, what is owed, what is being released, all are in motion now. Mars moving through your 1st house and squaring Pluto retrograde in your 10th can create friction between personal drive and professional constraint. Someone in authority may push against your direction, or a structure that no longer fits will make itself obvious. The full moon trines Saturn and Neptune in your 12th house. And the deeper current running beneath this transit is one of spiritual consolidation. Saturn in the 12th asks for solitude and honest inner accounting. Neptune here opens channels to what has been invisible or long suppressed. June carries a significant financial opening for Taurus. This full moon is the moment just before the door swings wide, and the 12th house trine is the inner clearing that makes the ground ready. Gemini and Gemini rising. The blue full moon sits directly across from your sun in your 7th house. Partnerships, significant others, and the people who mirror you most clearly. Something in a key relationship is reaching a point of completion or deepening. The Sun conjunct Uranus in your 1st house signals that your own identity is shifting, and whoever is in your life is experiencing that alongside you. A friendship may evolve towards something more. A dynamic you thought was defined may open in an unexpected direction. The moon trines Saturn and Neptune in your 11th house, and the community you have been building around your ideas and your work is quietly finding its structure. Saturn in the 11th asks you to commit to the vision, not just to the conversation. Neptune softens the boundaries between yourself and the people who are genuinely aligned with your direction. What you have been building in your extended network, it's finding its footing and the recognition of what it's beginning to arrive. Cancer and Cancer rising, the full moon lands in your 6th house, health, daily work, and the structure that hold your ordinary life together. For Cancer, this is an activation of healing at the level of rhythm, the body, the quality of your work environment, and whether how you spend your days actually reflects who you are. Venus and Jupiter are both moving through your 1st house right now, which means you are operating from a position of genuine warmth and magnetism at this full moon, even if you are not fully aware of it. The square from Venus and Saturn may introduce a moment of doubt about whether you deserve what is approaching. This is a reflex, not a signal to stop. The full moon trining Saturn and Neptune in your 10th house is already moving something toward you through the territory of career and public recognition, a slow consolidation of what you have been building becoming visible in ways the world can now see. Leo and Leo rising. The full moon creates a grand trine in fire, falling in your 5th house. Creative expression, romance, and the projects that carry your unmistakable signature. This is among the most favorable placements of this entire transit for Leo. Jupiter moves in your sign at the end of June, and this full moon is the energetic preview of what that cycle will open. Whether you begin now in the realm of creativity or love carries the potential to expand significantly across the rest of the year. Mars in your 10th, squaring Pluto retrograde in your 7th, may bring some relational friction into the professional arena. But the grand trine in fire holds more force than that square. The invitation in this full moon is clear. Follow what generally moves you and give it your full attention. Virgo and Virgo rising. The full moon lands in your 4th house, home, ancestry, and the emotional foundation beneath everything else in your life. Some of you are moving or navigating a significant domestic shift. For others, the change is internal. Something in how you carry your roots, it's being renegotiated. The Sun conjunct Uranus in your 10th house means career and public life are moving quickly right now. Clients arriving and departing, opportunities appearing without warning. Your health needs attention through all of it. The body will signal when the piece has exceeded what it can sustain. The full moon trines Saturn and Neptune in your 8th house, and deeper financial conversations, mortgages, shared accounts, inheritance may require careful examination. That attention is not a burden. It is what surfaces the stability that makes everything else you are building possible. Libra and Libra rising. The full moon falls in your 3rd house. Communication, local movement, short trips, and the exchange of ideas that keeps your mind alive. Travel is supported. Study is supported. Conversations that stretch you beyond your current thinking are already arriving. Venus and Jupiter in your 10th house are building toward a conjunction in June that carries real professional promise. What you are doing in your work is changing visibly, and people are beginning to notice in ways that will become more obvious over the coming weeks. The full moon trines Saturn and Neptune in your 7th house. And the support available through your closest partnerships is more substantial than it may appear. Saturn here is building committed structures within your one-on-one bonds. Neptune softens the defenses that have kept genuine intimacy at a distance. Well, whatever question the Venus-Saturn square raises about your readiness, the depth of what is already present in your significant relationships is what holds you. Scorpio and Scorpio rising. The full moon falls in your 2nd house. Personal income, self-worth, and the material ground beneath your life. New financial opportunities are opening, particularly through teaching, travel-related work, or any channel that draws on your depth and knowledge. Jupiter and Venus in your 9th house are filling the horizon with expansion, study, long-distance connection, and belief-shaping experiences are all in motion. The full moon trining Saturn and Neptune in your 6th suggests the daily effort you have been putting in is beginning to translate into something tangible. Mars in your 7th house squaring Pluto retrograde in your 4th may surface friction in a close relationship or a domestic situation. Something about power, about what has been running long enough to need a direct conversation. The disruption has a purpose. What it eventually returns to you is a more honest foundation. Sagittarius and Sagittarius rising. This is your full moon. At 9 degrees of Sagittarius, it falls in your 1st house, your identity, your body, the self you're inhabiting in this chapter of your life. Something is beginning. A genuine renewal is available here. And the energy of this blue moon is oriented toward you specifically. Jupiter, your ruler, is exalted in Cancer in your 8th house. Transformation is running deep, and financial movement may be arriving through unexpected channels. Something that has been building underground is surfacing right now. The Sun conjunct Uranus in your 7th brings unusual, potential, exciting energy into your closest relationships. A new person arriving, an existing dynamic shifting, or quietly of openness between yourself and someone you already know that feels different from what came before. The opening at your 1st house is larger than whatever friction surrounds it. Capricorn and Capricorn rising. The full moon lands in your 12th house. Rest, solitude, spiritual depth, and the quiet work that happens below the surface of your visible life. This is a full moon that asks you to receive, not to produce. Jupiter and Venus in your 7th house are building towards something in the realm of partnership that will become more visible as June arrives. What is coming has been quietly taking shape through everything you have been releasing. The moon trines Saturn and Neptune in your 4th house, and home provides a kind of grounding through whatever the 12th house is processing. The stillness available to you now is not an absence of direction. It's the space where the next chapter is being prepared, away from anything that would disturb it before it is ready. Aquarius and Aquarius rising. The full moon lands in your 11th house. Chosen community, friendships, and the long visions you carry for your future. This is a placement that asks you to let your people in and to let what they are already offering actually reach you. The Sun conjunct Uranus in your 5th house brings a creative and playful energy that is quite rare for Aquarius. Genuine permission to have fun, to experiment, and to let joy to be primary reason for doing something. Mars in your 4th house, squaring Pluto retrograde in your 1st house may surface disruption in your living situation for confrontation with the family dynamic that has been pressing for resolution. You are changing in ways your environment has not caught up with yet, and that gap is the source of the friction. The full moon in your 11th is a reminder that the community forming around the new version of you is already there. Pisces and Pisces rising. The full moon falls in your 10th house, career, public identity, and what the world sees when it looks at you. For Pisces, this blue moon carries professional visibility and the potential for recognition of work that has been done with real commitment over time. Jupiter in your 5th house and the full moon in your 10th house creates a powerful axis between creative expression and public life. What you build from the inside, the honest work, the things you make simply because they are true, is finding its audience. Mars squaring Pluto retrograde in your 3rd house brings sharp communication with a sibling or a nearby figure, or a moment of frustration in a long short distance movement. Channel the force of that Mars into the work itself. The full moon trining Saturn and Neptune in your 2nd house deepens the conversation around self-worth and material foundation. Saturn building slowly and deliberately toward financial security. Neptune opening income channels connected to spiritual or creative work. What you have generally earned is beginning to accumulate. A blue full moon in Sagittarius arrives once every 2-3 years. What it illuminates is specific. The places where your beliefs about what is possible are either expanding or contracting, and the invitations you are either open to or quietly turning away from. Every single one of you is being asked for some essential question at this full moon. Are you willing to let your world become larger than you are currently allow it to be? Drop your rising sign in the comments and tell me which part of this full moon is speaking most directly to where you are right now.